Start and stream. Patrick, you are live.
Hello everybody and welcome to another dive with me, your underwater biologist Patrick. Today we have Emil on camera and Lauren on the surface. Now once again I am diving off the western side of Grand Cayman Island here at Casuarina Point, right out the front of our good friends at Don Foster's Dive Centre. So I'm about 200 metres or 600 feet offshore and I'm at 15.2 metres, so about 50 feet down. Now I did come out here in search of a stingray and a turtle, but there doesn't appear to be any around at the moment. So let's take a look around this reef and see what we can find. Now Emil is pointing for something down here. Why don't you go ahead and say hello, Lauren?
Hi everyone, a very good morning to you from Grand Cayman. I do believe we have a lionfish hiding out under the little ledge here.
Yes, we can face him, a lionfish. Now we can see that these have very big, long spines. These spines are actually quite venomous.
Yes, this looks like a fully grown adult red lionfish.
Yes, the body's probably about 30 centimetres, so 12 inches long.
Now lionfish are invasive species here, as many of you know. They should not be here, but we almost find one on every dive, which shows you how much they are thriving and overpopulating. But we're getting a really good close-up of the face here, and you can see those leaf-like appendages at the front. Pat, can you explain what they are for us?
Sorry?
Those little leaf-like appendages near the mouth?
Yeah, so they are called cirri, and they act as a bit of an extra sensory organ for them. So they're kind of like little tentacles.
And they are covered on the ventral, anal and dorsal side with a big range of feathers, or what looks like feathers, but they're actually venomous spines containing a neurotoxin. So they are completely armed with defense against predators, so they really don't have much animals that prey on them naturally.
Yes, and that is why they tend to stay very still and are not really scared by anything approaching them, because they can sit there and almost have those spines protecting them at every single angle.
Yeah, they're very elaborate looking, they're very glamorous, I like to say, and they're really not aggressive. Oh, a spotted drum, a juvenile spotted drum. And Love Dogs mentioned that there was possibly a squirrel fish behind the lionfish, and you are correct. I saw that as well.
And we also have ourselves a spotted drum.
So while we're looking at this drum, just to remind you all to send in your questions, comments and requests to the usual feeds on Facebook and YouTube. And if you are using Twitter, use that hashtag diveLIVE, and both Pat and I will try our very best to answer your questions. So the lionfish are nocturnal, so they're very active at night, which is why it's very chilled right now, just hanging about in the little crevice under that big sponge. It's very relaxed, and they're actually very graceful swimmers, and they will not attack you. They're not scared of you, but they will not attack you. They're very confident in their position in the food chain. I think they're very aware that not many animals eat them here. So lionfish themselves are voracious predators. They eat all the small juvenile reef fish, which is why they became such a problem. They eat and eat and eat. And one lionfish was actually explored to have up to 50 different species of juvenile reef fish in its stomach, including many parrotfish. They do prey upon juvenile parrotfish. Now, as we know, parrotfish are a big, important key factor to the reefs, so having an invasive species that eats them is definitely a problem.
Alright, so we did come out here in search of some stingrays, because we do frequently see them here on a cleaning station being cleaned, but it doesn't seem like there's any around today. So we're going to head back over the sandy patch to the other side of the reef, and then we're just going to slowly keep shallowing up more and more and finish up in the engine block to see if that moray eel is hanging about. So let's head back over the sand and then onto the reef.
That would be great. I would love to see a moray today, and I'm always hopeful that we see that turtle.
Yeah. If you want to see anything, please send it in, and I'll try my best to point it out for you.
So Pat, we have a question from Spas. As they are invasive and eat other fish, do lionfish destroy the coral reef?
Well, they don't destroy the reef directly, so they don't directly affect the corals themselves. But their effect on the ecosystem will eventually come back to the corals. So, as Lauren mentioned, they do eat juvenile parrotfish, which are important herbivores. And so if these parrotfish numbers decline, then they can't keep the algae off the reef. Then the algae is going to smother the corals, and then the corals will suffer as a result. So it's not a direct effect on the corals, but by altering the ecosystem, they do have an effect on the reef itself.
So Pat, Craig is asking, do they ambush their prey or do they chase it?
Well, these lionfish are very still, and they have very big gulping mouths, so they can afford to sit still and be in ambush over that, where they can launch out very quickly and gulp up the little fish.
And Scott is asking what dive site we're at. So just a reminder, we are outside of Dawn Foster's Dive Centre in Grand Cayman, and we are diving at Casuarina Point.
So we'll hit the other side of the reef now. So I started at 15 metres, and I've actually only shallowed up 1 metre since then, so 3 feet. But this reef has a very steady incline, so it starts to shallow up a bit more now. Hopefully also get some better light as well.
So Pat, Proud Cat Mama is asking what happens when a lionfish stings you?
What was that, sorry?
What happens when a lionfish stings you?
Well, you would be in a lot of pain. So the venom isn't deadly, and in a very special case it might kill you, but no, it wouldn't be lethal, but very, very painful. So if they were to attack you or kill you, you'd have to seek medical assistance and probably have some sort of serum or antivenom to treat it with.
Yes, the venom is a neurotoxin and it targets neuromuscular transmission. So it isn't deadly to humans, but it's definitely deadly to smaller fish because they are much smaller in size, and it would in fact kill them. So up ahead we have a pair of French angelfish.
Yeah, so these guys are probably a mating pair, which means that they will hang around with each other, and when the time comes they will mate. In the meantime they will just help each other find food and go around the reef again. Now, something very cute about this is that if they get separated and you see them reunited, they will actually dance around a little bit with one another.
Would you say that this pair are the same size, Pat?
Yeah, they're pretty much exactly the same size. Both are about a ruler length, so 30 centimetres, 12 inches.
So Brent was asking again about the lionfish because it was so beautiful and striking. Can you guys catch lionfish and get rid of them, Pat?
Yes. So there is a spearing program that goes on here, or a culling program in the Cayman Islands. And you can actually get your certification. You can get your certification to spear the lionfish. And they have a regulation on the spears themselves here in the island as well. So they do promote culling off the lionfish, but they also want the spearfishing itself to be responsibly controlled.
So Pat, I think you have a very special person watching, and Joey says hi.
Hey Joey, hope you're settling in up north.
So I'm hoping to see some other species of hamlets today as well. We seem to be on a roll with the hamlets, and my aim is to see every single species.
Yeah, so we still have a few to tick off the list. We haven't had the black
One here?
Sorry?
Is this a hamlet right in front of us, Pat?
Yes, this looks like just what I said, the black hamlet. So we have not seen this one yet, and we can see why it's called the black hamlet. It is jet black. It actually resembles a damselfish very closely, but we can tell it's a hamlet by those two dorsal fins, those paired dorsal fins there.
Well, right on cue, we found our other new species of hamlets, and as Pat mentioned, this is the black hamlet, and hamlets are part of the sea bass family, very closely related to groupers.
Black turtle.
Heart skipped a beat there, Pat.
Sorry?
My heart skipped a beat.
Finally, we found one. So,
oh, I can see it.
I know that much for that, but which one it is, I'm not sure yet. I have a bit of a hunch, but if you're watching along and you do know about our turtle naming and population program, please do send us in a guess as to who you think this one is. I think I know.
I definitely know, but we'll wait and see if people can guess it right. Great find. We have an adult hawksbill turtle up ahead.
Yes, and to give you all a hint, this one is a female hawksbill turtle.
And she's pretty famous.
Yes.
Oh, we have a suggestion from Love Dogs asking, is it Gretchen, Pat?
Oh, I think you might be on the right track there.
Yes, we can confirm it's Gretchen, a female adult hawksbill, who is obviously very hungry right now and taking big chunks out of the sponge.
Really struggling to get a decent chunk there. But we can see that the bit of the sponge he's feeding on has already got a bit of scarring there, so that this must be a favourite sponge of the hawksbills for Gretchen. Really aggressively trying to get some pieces off there. Great sighting.
So we're getting a really good close-up view of that sharp, pointy beak, which is where the name the hawksbill comes from. And we're even getting a real close-up view of those two nostrils. Turtles have good sense of smell, good eyesight, and good hearing. And clearly good taste as it's munching away on the sponge.
So, sponges are not often utilised as food for many animals because they contain so much silicon. So, for some reason, the hawksbills do use them as food and must somehow get some nutrition out of them, but they will have quite the buildup of glass like silicon in their stomachs. And on top of this, the sponges also have a lot of toxins in them, and these toxins can actually accumulate in the hawksbill's flesh, which is why you should never eat hawksbills. Well, there's many reasons why you shouldn't eat hawksbills, but that's one for your own health and safety.
Yeah, so just to add to what Pat said, the toxin in the flesh of a hawksbill is known as chelone toxin, and it's incredibly dangerous for humans to consume. So 50% of all the food found in a hawksbill's digestive tract is actually these uncomfortable glass spicules coming from the sponges. Now Craig guessed it was Gretchen as well, so good job, you're learning. So how we knew it was Gretchen is because the scales or scutes at the side of each side of the turtle's face is completely unique to each individual turtle. No two turtle will have the same pattern. Even the left side and the right side of a turtle will be different itself. So Gretchen was one of our first turtles we ever saw here in Grand Cayman, and she has quite a unique pattern there on her own right side, and that's how we knew it was Gretchen. We're so happy to see her again.
Now, turtles are reptilian. That means that they don't breathe underwater like other fish and marine species do. So right now, she is on a dive. It's just like a free diver if a free diver wanted to go down and eat some sponges. So they are very adapted to this and can hold their breath for a very long time. And they only need to come to the surface every now and again to breathe, but they don't like to stay at the surface. They much prefer to be down on the reef.
So Proud Cat Mama is asking about the endangered status of hawksbills, and they are classified as critically endangered by the IUCN.
Yes, unfortunately, a lot of turtle species are classified as some level of endangered on the IUCN threatened species list. But there are a lot of good people doing some very good things to try and save these beautiful animals.
So unfortunately, the hawksbill species alone is actually utilized for its beautiful shell. So the shell doesn't necessarily look so beautiful right now, but if you were to take this from the turtle and polish it on land, it is incredibly beautiful, and it's used to make jewelry. And this jewelry is called tortoise shell, so people don't automatically realize that it's from the hawksbill sea turtle, and this is one of the biggest contributors to their decline. So Spas was asking what we actually know about Gretchen. Do we know her age?
Well, we don't know her exact age. There's no real way to tell that, but we do know that she is a sexually mature female.
So hawksbills normally become sexually mature between around 20 to 25 years of age, although it will be different for each individual. So due to the size of her carapace length, now carapace just means shell, from top to bottom, it's definitely over 60 centimeters. So that way we know she hasn't... Oh, she just put her flipper on that piece of fire coral. There seems to be no adverse reaction though. Maybe she doesn't feel the sting of the fire coral.
Yeah, it does look like she's got some pretty impermeable scales there on her flippers. Perhaps they're helping her.
Bass is also asking how we know the difference between male and female turtles, Pat.
Well, in this instance, we just looked at the rear of the carapace or the shell, and there is no presence of a tail. So in sexually mature hawksbills, you'll see with the males, they will have a tail in between their two flippers, and there is not one here in Gretchen. That's how we know she's a female.
So Craig is asking, how can turtles smell underwater if they can't breathe underwater?
Oh, I do not know the answer to that one. Do you know, Laura?
Well, they have nostrils, which water will come in, and just like many of the animals underwater, they will be able to use receptors to sort of smell odors and chemical signals in the water. So they actually can smell, but you're right, they are reptiles, so they do not breathe underwater. Gretchen, that you are seeing right now, is holding her breath. Oh, she's coming nice and close. She's not breathing. She's most likely holding her breath and breathing anaerobically, which is without oxygen.
So, as Gretchen is a sexually mature female, that does mean that she will one day, if she hasn't already, lay eggs. And now, being marine creatures, they don't actually lay their eggs in water, they lay them on land. So what they'll do is scuttle up a beach and find an appropriate area, and then they'll dig out a little burrow, doing what I call the turtle dance, which is a little step-by-step process in which they use their rear flippers to dig out their holes, and then they'll lay their eggs and bury them and leave them to incubate. And now something really interesting about this is the temperature of the nest will dictate whether they hatch as male or female. So there's a little saying to remember this, and it's cool dudes and hot chicks. So the cooler temperatures will produce males, and the warmer temperatures will produce females.
Yes, so from 28 degrees Celsius, which is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit and below, they will be males, and from 30 degrees Celsius to about 86 degrees Fahrenheit will be females. Any eggs in that middle region, it will produce a mixed result of male and females.
Did you see that damselfish?
Oh no, I didn't.
So Gretchen just got attacked on the face and flipper by a damselfish. There's actually a few damselfish getting a bit aggressive towards her right now. They must have like swimming around their patches.
Gretchen seems completely unfazed, and she's actually upside down right now, and you can see that tiny little stumpy tail. So that is the female's tail, which normally never extends past the shell. There will be an opening there, which is where she's able to lay her eggs. The male's tail will be in the exact same place, but it will be much, much longer and fatter, and that's how we can visibly tell the difference. Love Dogs mentioned damselfish have no boundaries.
They really do not. They will attack anything and anyone in territory.
So Spas was asking, when is their egg laying period?
I'm not sure for the hawksbills here in the Caribbean. I know that the olive ridleys around this area is between July and November. I'm not sure for the hawksbills here.
There isn't any olive ridleys in this area, but the mating season for the hawksbills here is between May and November. So this is where the males will sort of leave the coral reefs and go into the deeper waters to mate with the males, which we can often observe from the surface. And it's quite a feisty, aggressive act. Many males will compete for the one female, and they will bite and fight with one another. And the female is actually able to store sperm from many different males in different oviducts inside of her. She will then choose which sperm to use to fertilize her eggs. Once she has successfully mated, she can wait some time before going onto the beach. And they lay their eggs in many different clutches. So it's not just a one-time thing. They will come on land many times during that season, and they will lay different clutches of eggs.
Now, if you've been observing swimming, you'll notice that she's not using her back fins at all, or back flippers. And this is because she only needs to use her front screw. So we can see that they're shaped almost like wings. And this is to generate lift, because they don't actually have a swim bladder, being reptiles. So they have to create lift for themselves, and they use their two front flippers to kind of almost fly like a bird. And then these two back flippers here, yeah, she's taking a big poo. I'm just going to move away from her rear section. And then these back two fins are for control, so they're almost like a rudder.
Ah, did you just get pooed on by a turtle?
Close. I was right at the tail. The big one though.
Oh dear. So Proud Cat Mama is asking, how can we help save the turtles?
Well, that kind of depends on where you are. If you're in a location near where there is sea turtle nesting sites, you could always volunteer and help out with population and nesting research program. If you're not, you can always help by spreading awareness, or by donating to a cause, or just learning more and communicating with others these things that you're learning.
Yes, and also a lot of turtles get entangled in ghost nets and trash that is in the ocean, so always make sure we keep our oceans free of trash and plastic pollution, and the beaches. Of course, the turtles need the beach ecosystem intact for when they come on land to lay their eggs. Now Craig is asking, do they lay their eggs on the island or go elsewhere?
Sorry, what was that?
Do they lay the eggs on the island or go elsewhere?
Here on Grand Cayman, they don't lay eggs here in Grand Cayman. I believe it's the leatherbacks and then green turtles that nest here.
The hawksbills nest here too. Within the past 5 years, I think they're finding a lot of hawksbill nests again, which is great. But with all turtles, they show philopatry, which means they show complete and utter fidelity to the site that they were born. So they will always go back to that beach where they were born to lay their eggs. So Gretchen, for example, and the turtles that we see may not lay their eggs on Grand Cayman if they were not born here. Most likely they will travel elsewhere to go back to home and lay their eggs. Nobody really knows how they manage this because they can travel thousands of miles, but they do believe that turtles have an internal compass and they are able to read the Earth's magnetic fields, and they can find their way home to lay eggs. So you can see now Gretchen is going to the surface to take some breaths. Now, turtles are so good at breathing air, they're actually able to exchange 50% of the gases in their lungs in one breath. Now, just to put that into some context, humans can only exchange 10%. So she will just take a few breaths at the surface, fill up her lungs, and come back down again, most likely to continue eating.
And we can see, unlike us humans, who don't have to do these dives to live, she didn't have to take a 3-minute safety stop.
So Pat, Proud Cat Mama, is asking, what is the average lifespan of a hawksbill turtle?
Well, I know that they can live up to 50 years plus, but I think you would know better than I, Lauren.
It's estimated that their average lifespan lies between 30 and 50 years old. So if they are not affected by humans, they can live up to the age of 50, and that is for hawksbills only. Now, Stevie is commenting on the survival rate, and the survival rate is one of the poorest in the animal kingdom, and it is only 1 or 2 eggs or hatchlings out of 1,000 will survive to adulthood. So you're right, Stevie, it's incredibly low.
Yeah, so they do face a lot of challenges between birth and making it into, well, establishing themselves as a juvenile turtle. So firstly, when they are just their egg stage, they have to combat bacteria build-up, overheating, being poached, and then if they make it past this and they actually hatch, then they have to make it from the beach to the water, which doesn't really seem like that far, but there are so many different predators that see this as a very easy feed. So a lot of birds, some other reptiles like crocodiles, even jaguars will come and feed on these babies. And then if they do make it to the water, then they've got the surf and the waves to deal with, so they don't want to drown. Plus there will also be a lot of other predatory fish just sitting there waiting for them. So if they make it past there, then they can start to try to establish themselves. Oh! Wow, look at this. So this birdfish is just sitting there, I think, having a sleep.
Yeah, that's a birdfish there. Part of the porcupine fish family, and you very often find them just resting, trying to camouflage themselves against the coral and sponges.
I almost swam right over this. There's a meal. We can take the credit for spotting this one.
So we're getting a really good close-up view of the spines. You can actually see why they're part of the porcupine fish grouping because of those spines on the body.
Yes, and they do contain a toxin called a tetrodotoxin, which is produced in some organs and in the tissue. So what this is actually not produced by the animal itself, but they have a symbiotic relationship with a special type of bacteria that actually produces this venom. So in areas where these fish can't harbour that bacteria, they will actually not produce the venom either.
So Pat, before we go into details, can we just get an air check from you?
Yeah, sure. So, I am on 100 bar exactly.
Perfect. So here in the Caribbean, they actually call this fish a balloon fish, but it is part of the porcupine fish family, which means they are able to blow themselves up, literally like a balloon, and these spines that you can see will become erect and stand on end. So it will be a pretty inedible meal. Now this is one of the smaller porcupine fish groupings, and they will only go up to about 14 inches.
sitting flat there against that rock, obviously trying to camouflage itself, stay out of everyone's way.
And actually, once the camera sort of moves away, you can see how camouflage it really was against the rock there. They have huge big eyes as they are nocturnal fish, so during the day they just rest, which is exactly what we saw it doing. They're not very good swimmers, they're very cumbersome and heavy because of that body design, so they are often found just resting like this because they're not so good at swimming. But they are really good at defending themselves against predators.
Yeah, it really is a bit of a trade-off with these fish because they traded swimming, being able to swim efficiently. Ooh, hunting tarpon. They've been trading able to swim efficiently for a defense that is able to warn off predators. So this tarpon was just hunting. We saw it attacking something just before we got the camera on it. So it must be tarpon are nocturnal hunters. So it must have had enough of a feed last night. It is still the early hours of the morning, so it might still just be doing some last minute gathering.
Yes, it is only 7:30 here in Grand Cayman, so it's still early morning for me at least. So what size would you say this tarpon is, Pat?
This one's a big one, I would say 1.5 meters, probably even a bit bigger, so well over 5 foot. Probably close to 3 meters even.
So just to confirm, that was, it's called a balloon fish here, but yes, it is a burrfish, which is part of the porcupine fish family. And as Pat mentioned, they do contain that tetrodotoxin in their flesh.
The tarpons are very fascinating animals. Well, they're just tolerant to so many different environments. So they can tolerate salinities, and what salinity is the amount of salt in the water. They can tolerate salinities very high to almost fresh water. And on top of this, they can also breathe both underwater and air. So they can come up to the surface in oxygen depleted environments, or if they need a little bit of energy, a little bit of extra energy burst, and breathe oxygen by gulping over the top of the water. And this gets drawn in through a swim bladder, which is an organ that helps most fish use just their buoyancy and stay in the correct position in the water. But in the tarpon, it also functions as a sort of fake lung.
Yes, tarpon come from a very ancient lineage of fish, and they've rarely changed over the years. They are very good at survival. And you can kind of tell by looking at them with their grumpy face that they are very ancient. And another grumpy face we have is a big mutton snapper.
Yes, this is a massive mutton snapper. Probably about a metre, I reckon, or just over 3 feet.
Well, Craig is asking how do you spell its name, but I'm sorry, Facebook is a little bit slow for us, so if you can just clarify what you need spelled, I will do that for you.
So you can tell that this is a mutton snapper by that black dot towards the rear of its body. That is a key identifying feature. Now these mutton snappers will quite often hang around divers because of that lionfish culling program we mentioned earlier. Sometimes they will, the people will feed the lionfish to the snapper, or if the snapper is sneaky enough, it will come and steal the lionfish off the spear. So they do associate divers with free food.
Yes, it's very naughty, but they've obviously learned very quickly how they can achieve an easy meal, which does show a level of intelligence and learns behavior. So Pat, a lot of people were interested in that balloon fish. Can we ask some questions on that?
Yeah, of course.
So Proud Cat Mama was asking, is it true the birdfish has a plated mouth structure for crushing shells?
A plated mouth structure?
Yes.
Yes, so anything that does feed on shells needs to have some sort of platform to kind of crush them together, because all the nutrition is on the inside. So by having crushing plates, that's how they can feed on bivalves or any other shelled organism.
Yes, and they're in the group in Diodon today, which means 2 teeth, 2 plates. So they have 1 plate on the top and 1 on the bottom, and they primarily feed on shellfish or mollusks or bivalves. They do not eat other fish. So you're right, they have these crushing plates which are designed for crushing shells.
Now, here we have a sergeant major guarding an egg patch. So Neil, just want to turn the camera down here. You can see right now that this male sergeant major is currently rubbing its body against this large dark patch here on the sand. So this is a patch of heaps of eggs, and what it's doing right now is it's gently aerating the eggs, so it's providing oxygen whilst also clearing away debris and anything harmful off the eggs. So the female lays the eggs, here attaches them to the substrate, and then the male will fertilise it by spraying it with sperm. Now, the male will viciously attack anything that tries to interfere with these eggs or tries to eat it. Sometimes even other sergeant majors will come and eat these eggs. So it will do this for about 6 days, and after 6 days then the eggs will hatch and they'll get juvenile sergeant majors.
Yeah, we can really see it just hovering above the egg patch. It's really just not leaving that one area. Love Dogs noticed the hamlet there. Well done. It was a bard's hamlet before we came to the sergeant major. Well spotted. So this is a sergeant major, which is part of the damselfish family, and what it's doing right now is guarding the egg patch. So you can see it's gone a bit purple at the head. That is the colour of the eggs rubbing off on the fish. So the fish is guarding them, but also aerating them, blowing oxygen over them, which is why he's moving that way.
Wow, this snapper here, I don't know what species this is. Let's have a look at this one. So I thought this was a mutton snapper, but there's no black dot. It's got a different shaped head. So maybe this is a dog snapper. It's another big one, about 80 centimetres, just under 3 feet. And it is roosting off pretty quick for us. I was going to suggest you get the ID guide out, but it's swimming pretty fast.
From what I could see with the facial markings, it definitely looked like a dog snapper.
Snapper, yeah. It had, yeah, a white kind of bar under its eye.
Can we have another air check, Pat?
Yep. 70 bars, so still a little bit of time down here. If we are sort of close to the edge of the reef, we might be able to go check that. Oh no, we'll have to go back around. Anyway. anyway, so we won't get time to check the engine block, but that's okay. Still have a look around here for something else.
Yeah, you're quite far from that engine block, so maybe we can check it out next dive, so everyone can stay with us until the next dive. So it's been a really lucky dive. I'm so jealous. Hopefully I will be back in the water soon. We had Gretchen the turtle and so many fish. So have we got time, Pat, to find another fish and quickly identify it? One that we don't know?
We haven't actually found our unidentified species yet today, so maybe it's because we're starting to find them all. But we are trying to identify at least one new species of fish every single time.
Yes, and it's not easy, but we are trying our very best to find new species.
Well, actually, right here we have a squirrelfish, but we always just refer to them as squirrelfish. We don't actually talk about what species they are. So this one looks a bit different from the ones we usually see. And perhaps, well, there's a couple here anyway, so we can see.
It's actually one species called the squirrelfish, but there is lots that make up the squirrelfish family. So we normally see the squirrelfish, and yesterday, without even realizing it, we sighted the long spine squirrelfish. So this one keeps darting in and out. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. Can you describe the colors, Pat?
Yeah, so it's a very light pink, almost iridescent pink, with darker horizontal bars running along the body.
Yes, I believe this could be the dusky squirrelfish. We definitely haven't spoke about this one before. So the dusky squirrelfish goes up to about 5 inches in size, and it does look quite different from the other squirrelfish that we see, having those striped bars along the body.
They are called squirrelfish, funnily enough, because they make sounds like a squirrel apparently. I haven't actually been lucky enough to hear this yet, so I don't actually know what they sound like, but it is fascinating to know that fish do produce vocalizations. Usually it's from some kind of clicking or grinding. They can also make some squeals, and apparently, for some reason, you can even hear morning songs like birds.
To be honest, I don't even know what a normal land squirrel sounds like.
I've never actually seen one in my life.
Oh really? You need to come to Scotland, we have many. So Love Dogs did point out that we actually have already identified a new fish, and that was the black hamlet, and you are right. I had forgotten that already with
yeah, that's right. Thank you, Love Dogs.
With the excitement of Gretchen. So in today's dive we have a black hamlet, which we've never seen before, and the dusky squirrelfish.
And on that note, it is time for me to wrap up the dive. So, thank you all again for joining me. We finally got the turtle. It's been over a week now, so I'm very excited that Gretchen decided to come pay us a visit. Thanks again for joining me. It's been a great dive. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will be back under here diving with you again at 11 AM Grand Cayman time. So I hope to see you all then. Thank you, Emil, and thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, diveLIVE family. Please do join us again at 11 AM Grand Cayman time.